So what do you think primary care is going to look like in 20 years, and who's going to be providing it?
I think primary care is going to look it will look a lot different than it does right now. Um, my aspirations, my predictions are going to be very close together here, and it's based on some of the evaluations that we've done of existing primary care-based accountable care organizations, and that is that they'll be much bigger. They will not just be where care is delivered; they'll be where people come to develop better health. So they will come for cooking classes. They will come to understand how to search information about their health. They will come to just sit and talk to each other, to take Zumba classes, to take Pilates classes. They will have a much deeper relationship, not only with their primary care provider or physician, but they'll have a deeper relationship with the whole team because the panel sizes will be smaller. So a physician will identify with 500 patients, not 3,000 patients. They'll actually know their patients, and there will be other people on their team who are involved in their care in a way that their physician or their provider are not. They'll have health coaches that reinforce their healthcare plans and call them up periodically when they're not taking their medications or not making their visits. They'll have mental health coaches also that are recognizing that people with chronic conditions often have mental health issues or behavioral health issues too, and that you have to deal with those if you're going to help them move on their physical health. I just think it will look a lot different. The teams will look larger. But Tom Graff, who's the medical director at Geisinger, I think said it very well at a meeting I was at recently. He said, the two things we need physicians to do most, one is to manage complex patients, but we also need them to manage relationships. And we're still figuring out what those relationships look like and what a relationship with a provider versus a team looks like, and that's going to be exciting. I think it's going to make primary care a lot more fun too.
Have you seen this, or is this a dream?
No, I have seen it.
Okay.
In evaluating an existing and mature accountable care organization, I was blown away. I had left a group medical association meeting where they were talking about shrinking the footprint of primary care practice, of putting physicians into cubicles. And it was really disturbing. In that same month that I went to start this evaluation of this accountable care organization, I walked in, and these were enormous places. They weren't trying to shrink the footprint, they were trying to expand it. And in one site, they had a community room where people came and played bingo. They took Zumba classes, they took cooking classes. They really wanted this place to be seen by patients as a community resource, not just a place for healthcare. And so patients felt very comfortable coming in. They developed peer relationships and even group visits out of those peer relationships that really help people learn from their peers about their health. And the Zumba classes were so interesting because they said, look, if we can keep patients, most of these were older patients, from falling and breaking their hip, and we can do that through strengthening their core muscles and do it in a group exercise setting, that's worth its weight in gold in terms of our costs down the road. But the real fascinating thing was to see one of the larger sites that was mostly a gym. They had a gym for people over age 60 where they could come in and work with a trainer for free. They also had pool tables, and they had other things that they get people to come into these spaces naturally. They had a clinic off to the side, but most of it was this exercise place. And then they had Meals on Wheels delivered there. They had cooking classes for better health. They had an IT room where they taught people how to email their physicians and how to look up healthcare resources on the web, and all of that was free.
Wow.
And they said, when you do this right, when you do this outpatient primary care function right, you save so much money on the inpatient side that you can afford to do this and still make money. So I was really blown away by these sites.